Hello and welcome to our Jinx playthrough for Jinx vs Galio. This is a part 2 of our Jinx guide, so if you haven't seen that, go ahead and watch that. That will be linked down below. In this, we're just going to show you how you can use Jinx to easily beat the most difficult encounters in the game. For this specific encounter, if one of your units dies, the enemy summons a Dauntless Vanguard the next round. Dauntless Vanguard is a 3/3 overwhelm. And then for this entire adventure against Galio, every round their units get 1 health if they're on the board. And then if you didn't watch the guide, the relics we're using is the Dreadway Chase Gun, the Loose Cannon's Payload, and the Curator's Great Gatebreaker. Normally for Jinx, if you're leading, you normally want to start with like a Rocket Boarder, but if they lead, then you often want to play a Zonite Urchin, so you can use her passive to just instantly kill the enemy. You always want to try to be looking for ways to use Jinx passive to get a further advantage.
Better run.
So that can sometimes mean waiting to play units until after the opponent is played, so that you know that you can try to eliminate them. And we could play Jinx to finish, but since they have 1 health, any card we play will just end the game. Alright, that's the first encounter down. Ooh, anytime you see an item that has the Farsight alteration on it, you always want to get that. That's one thing you normally want to look for with the support champion and the support cards. So here none of them got it, but this looks decent. I normally don't bother re-rolling these, they usually don't matter too much. So normally the spells chest will just give you a card you're not going to bother using anyways, so that's why I'm just going for the gold. Normally gold is relatively useless, but it's a good safety net. Sometimes you'll go to a shop and it'll have a legendary and you have just under the amount you need to buy it, so having a little extra gold can always help.
I don't need rules to know good from bad.
Greed will turn any man into a monster.
In and out.
Take everything.
So one thing I didn't do, but should have done, is I should have banked at least 1 mana for Jinx.
Just you and me, Fishbones. And him.
It won't really matter, but it's always a good practice to do. Because now that Jinx is leveled, she creates the fleeting super mega death rocket, but I don't have any mana to cast it. But the reason you want that Farsight alteration so much is you want to have a full hand for when you play Jinx, because that way she has more cards that she can discard, which then, using her star power, just does more damage to the enemy Nexus and the enemy board. So if you have a full board and then you play Jinx, that means she's normally going to completely wipe the enemy board, as well as deal a massive amount of damage to the enemy Nexus. So if you didn't see my guide video, I recommend that you normally cut one of these to 3 drops if you don't like the cards, your support cards.
Awesome! This is gonna be so much fun!
Yeah, normally you want to cut support cards first if they didn't roll well, but after that, normally one of those 3 drops isn't really worth having. You always want to re-roll the Farsight alteration because you're going to be getting that anyways.
Trickster never loses because Zoe makes the rules!
So Zoe can normally be a bit of a pain, but when you're playing Jinx, you can normally just kill her as soon as she spawns.
Watch them fly back into stars!
Don't want to die? Don't do terrible things.
Reality is just your mind crumbling under what it doesn't understand, silly!
So I played that first. I had the Pow Pow in case I needed it, but I was fine with rolling the dice to see if that killed her. As you can see, every round Zoe creates a Celestial card that costs 3 or less, which is a pain, but... They are just seeing if that could kill that unit at a 50% chance, but that is one fun aspect of Jinx, is that amount of randomness. So if you like rolling the dice and seeing if RNG likes you or not, can be a fun champion.
Be brave.
So we're slowly wearing the Nexus down, but if we would have drawn Jinx, the game would already be over. That is one of the bad things about this deck. If you don't draw your Jinx, sometimes can cost you the game if you are unlucky. I don't mind if they attack here. Since I have 40 health and your health gets refilled once you beat the boss, trading some health is fine if you know you're still going to be in a safe amount.
My first big mission. Villains beware. Better run.
That's one boss down, 2 to go. This is why you always want to be cutting cards and getting as many Jinx in your deck as possible. Shadow Totem is very good for Jinx, as well as the power that whenever you play a champion, it creates an ephemeral copy. Because what happens is the ephemeral Jinx will then discard the entire hand again, doing all the damage a second time. See, I'm not actively trying to just get gold, but I'm trying to avoid adding extra cards into my deck. And a lot of the different powers you can get are just trying to add more cards to your deck. So I'm actually going to pass here and hopefully play something. They do.
I don't need rules to know good from bad. Villains beware.
See, if I would have played something there first, either they wouldn't have been able to capture or they wouldn't have been able to do that extra damage to the unit.
Contain magic. Their guilt is evident.
Rules are made to be
So the
broken.
first Jinx
Her people.
discards her whole hand.
I'll give you to the countess. Like that.
And then the next Jinx will do the exact same.
Take a look at this.
Strange, so despite the fact that it had the item, bugged out and did not make a second Jinx.
Bye-bye.
There's been some weird bugs this this patch with the ephemeral units, them sometimes either not spawning or just not having the items they're supposed to. Could attack. And there's this match done.
We blew them all up.
As you can see, I'm not really struggling or necessarily trying too hard to win any of these, especially if you draw Jinx, then it's almost a guaranteed win. So Jinx can be somewhat reliant on having your star powers fully maxed out, as well as getting the right relics on her. But she's really not... Oh, see, I should have rerolled both those. But she's really not reliant on having powers, as far as powers you get in game.
These jewels are more than mere trinkets.
Scores to settle, cooks to kill. You know how it is.
Oh, you're all so cute.
So that's very nice because some units like Bard, some champions, if you don't get the right powers in your game, then you're going to have a very difficult time. Jinx, the stuff that she brings into game, she doesn't really need anything more. Like, there's obviously some that can be very helpful, but it's really not needed.
She called me betrayer. She scorned me.
I would guess it's probably going to block the champion, but it might... Alright, that's what we figured, but that's fine. Alright, let's see if it can actually summon the second Jinx now.
It was my heart that led me here.
I'm on a roll.
My journey ends.
Nope, still no second Jinx, but that's fine.
Bye-bye. We blew them all up.
Alright, normally I don't bother with slot bot, but the fact we had a lot of gold and we're out of reroll tokens wasn't too bad.
No power in this world can stop me.
Viego can be a bit of a pain, especially if he's able to level, and he also has a lot of annoying spells. The power for Viego, if you don't know, is that the strongest unit of yours that died the last round, he spawns as an ephemeral unit. So essentially you want to try to make sure none of your units die. This Camavorian soldier, you always want to try to get rid of it,
Scores to settle, cooks to
because
kill.
if they get that extra mana, it can really mess you up. Now that being said, it used to be a lot worse. Viego used to be 5 mana, and so he was able to be played in the next round if he got that off.
Does death follow me, or peace?
The sand rock got me cold.
Since we're getting our spell mana refilled every round, I'm playing a lot more than normal, because I know I don't have to bank mana anymore.
Jinx stands for Jinx. We're doing it!
Still not creating that second Jinx.
Catch!
So here's a fun little trick you can do with Pow Pows. and the enemy's low on health, you can target your own units just to get those extra last little ticks of damage in.
We blew them all up!
Alright, that's 2 bosses down, just Galio left. So while this you normally would always want to take, I'm wanting to increase that gatebreaker damage. So while that making all buffs permanent can be nice, I don't really have anything that is going to get buffed that's going to go away with the round other than the sparring student.
My first big mission. That egg. Did it move? Refill it.
He's coming.
So the special power for this match is that when they attack, they summon a Frenzied Skitterer, which is this. So buffs their allies and reduces your attack. And then if they reduce your attack below 3, then you're not able to block them. Because of that, you don't want to give them the opportunity to attack at all if you can.
Happy to do whatever's needed.
So the reason I opened attack is I wanted to be able to just get a good amount of damage down and then give them the opportunity to play cards, which Jinx would then kill.
Jinx?
But they blew all their mana on Vengeance.
I'm on a roll!
So now Jinx will just kill the Nexus. And see, this is why I went for the +2 attack. I wouldn't have gotten any real use out of increasing her health and damage with spells, because the game is over by the time she's played, essentially. It's kind of the interesting thing with Jinx. There's often very good relics and items that you would almost always want to get if you were playing a different champion, but for Jinx it doesn't really matter. This would have been actually good for if I had the buffs last every round. That's actually a very, very good combo. Oh, sure, this is a good general one. Since this is the last shop, I'm just going to re-roll just to see if there's anything that amazing that comes out. I mean, that's just kind of hilarious. Not that I'll actually probably use it or even get it, but yeah, you're mainly just fishing for items to add. So with the Dawn Speakers, their special power is just they summon 2 Dawn Speakers at the start of the game. And what happens if you kill one of their units, the next round the Dawn Speakers buff all their other units on board with 1 attack. So you normally just want to kill them as soon as you can.
The sun rock got me good.
Also, that tough is definitely an issue.
I'm actually here. What's cool?
We feel it!
I won't back down.
These coming. Strength and grace, beauty in the blade. Grab this tunic.
So the reason I'm not wanting to play anyone is I don't want to fill up the board space. I don't want to have to override a unit with Jinx.
Rules are made.
And the ones that I'd want to play
Our people
would all summon both the unit as well as the land unit. I just didn't want to deal with that.
See ya.
Alright, time just for Galio. Seems like that's a dead item, but whatever.
Time to make an impact.
Alright, so Galio's special ability is that if the enemy gets to 20 health between their units, Galio is immediately summoned. And then also, Galio always is supported by another champion. That champion is either Malphite, Senna, or Shyvana. And that just changes how the deck is. This one is Malphite, which is probably the hardest one to deal with, especially against
Everyone here? Let's go.
Jinx.
Scores to settle. Cook begins. You know how it is.
because I am a mountain.
Just gonna put this here.
Here comes the boulder.
Time to go.
So hopefully he plays a different unit, because right now if we play Jinx, the tough is just going to eat everything.
Jinx? Stands for Jinx? Fishbones! We're doing it!
Sometimes the bad gets back.
Stand back.
Alright, we'll just wear these guys down with Pow Pows.
Stand back.
Now it's a party!
Let's see if the Shadow Totem works with this one.
Can I help?
And yes, it does.
Only place to go is down.
That's not the best.
Coming.
Alright, there is Jinx versus Galio, the toughest encounter so far in the game. As you can see, really is not overly difficult, especially when you have a max level Jinx. So I hope you're able to learn something and enjoyed that. I will link the first guide video in the description, so please check that out if you want. I'm going to be releasing guides and walkthroughs for every single champion, so please subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that, and I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.